Welcome back to Crypto Polaris. My name is Zia. I know you guys are here for XRP. Should you buy XRP? That is the real question. Most of you guys are buying XRP, but you have no idea what XRP is. Some of you do, but most of you don't. And it's important to understand what you're about to buy. So, in order to understand XRP, you really need to understand these words. Number one, OpenCoin. Number two, Ripple Labs. Number three, XRP. Number four, XRP Ledger. And number five, RLUSD, which stands for Ripple Lab USD. Guys, it's very important you understand these things, how they are interconnected, and what is the purpose of XRP. So why don't we get started? We have a lot to talk about, so let's dive in, and I'm going to surprise you with price prediction. I'm going to show you what other people are predicting XRP to be in 5 years, and what I believe realistically what XRP should be. Again, none of these things are financial advice. This is for financial education, and please do your own research before you go any further. All right, let's get started here. Okay, hopefully you can see my agenda. As I said, we're going to go through the history and the background on XRP. It's very important. What the heck are these words? OpenCoin, Ripple Labs, XRP, XRLP, and RPUSD. Who are the founders? You really need to know. You're putting your hard-earned money into XRP because some friend told you about XRP. It's going to the moon. But do you really know who created XRP? You really need to know these people. So I'm going to talk about those founders so you really understand who you're putting the money behind, okay? Now, in order for you to truly believe where XRP is headed, you need to understand SWIFT. SWIFT. And if you don't understand what SWIFT is, you will not understand why XRP exists, okay? And we'll go into pros and cons, facts about XRP. Did you know this? Did you know this? Did you know these? It's going to be eye-opening for you to know some of the facts about XRP before somebody says, it's going to $10, it's going to $100, it's going to $500. What do you base it on? And I'm going to walk you through that, all right? And at the end, should you really buy XRP? And then price predictions by others, prominent people, and then my price prediction, which is in an Excel spreadsheet. I spent a lot of time modeling this out. There are a lot of parameters, and I'll walk you through it. And I will make this available for you to download so you can decide for yourself. So let's go to the next page and see what we got here. All right, history and background on XRP. Way back in 2012, there was no such thing as XRP. There was a company called OpenCoin, founded in 2012, which then later they changed the name and became Ripple Labs. It's important. Ripple Labs is very important for the current existence and the creation of XRP. Founders behind them are 4 people, guys. It's very important. Chris Larsen, Jed McCallum, Arthur Brito, and David Schwartz, who's still there as the CTO. Now, who the heck is Arthur Brito? And who the heck is David Schwartz? They're very technical people, and I'll give you a little color on that. But prior to OpenCoin and Ripple Labs, this gentleman named Ryan Fugger in 2004 really created something called Ripple Pay. So all of this stuff on XRP, really, the foundation goes back to 2004, way before Bitcoin also. Isn't that amazing? OpenCoin got started, renamed in 2012 to Ripple Labs by these 4 people, and that created what you know today is XRP. XRP was created in 2012 by Ripple Labs. It's important, guys. Unlike Bitcoin, who we don't know who really is Satoshi Nakamoto, but with XRP, we know who created it. It's Ripple Labs, and these guys created it. XRP used to be called Ripple before, and it was very confusing. The company Ripple Labs versus the token called Ripple. So they changed the name a few years back to XRP as the token name, okay? And then of course it's blockchain. So that's why you have XRP Ledger, or XRLP stands for Ledger. That's the blockchain part of it, but the token is XRP. All right, a little bit about the founders, very important. Chris Larsen, you know, he is a genius. He really founded eLoan. If you guys from the 90s and early 2000s, you probably heard of eLoan. And we all, even to this day, have FICO credit score. and he's one of the pioneers who worked on creating the FICO credit score. It's very important that you understand his financial background, okay? Jed McCaleb. Anybody heard of Mt. Gox? Mt. Gox, one of the largest Bitcoin hack that happened. Not under him though. He created Mt. Gox and he sold it off in 2011 before the hack. And from there, he left Ripple Lab and created a competitor to XRP called XLM. And we're not going to talk about XLM right now. Going forward, David Schwartz, he's still the CTO, really driving force behind the Ripple Labs and XRP Ledger. And then Arthur Brito was really technical. We don't really know much about him. He's a very personal guy. He had left also back in 2015, I believe. Why was XRP created? It really was originally created to compete against SWIFT. And I'm going to explain what SWIFT is in a second. But put that aside, it wanted to enable faster, cheaper, and more efficient way to do cross-border transactions. Fancy words. What the heck does that mean? I live in US. I want to send money to Philippines. That's cross-border financial transaction. It's payment. Okay, you wire money from US to Philippines, you wire money from US to Mexico, you wire money from US to London. Behind the wiring is the whole SWIFT messaging system, which we're going to talk about in a second. And it's very inefficient. That's why these guys created XRP and XRP Ledger with Ripple Labs behind it. So Ripple Labs have a software called RippleNet, which is like a network, and that uses XRP. I hope you're with me. So far, so good? Okay, so it was created to be faster, cheaper, and more efficient to do international payment or cross-border payment. And they wanted to transfer money, obviously. And XRP Ledger is nothing more than just a blockchain. Now, XRP crypto was created, and this is the advantage of the XRP token. It allows people to transfer money within 2 to 5 seconds. XRP crypto was created to give you on-demand liquidity. That means if I want to send money from US to Philippines, if I use SWIFT, it takes 1 to 5 days for it to be totally settled. With this solution from XRP Ledger, using XRP, it settles in a matter of a few seconds. It is really the bridge currency for the financial systems, okay? So let me go through this and show you what else is going on here. And you really need to understand what is XRP before you put 1 penny into XRP. I never put any money because someone told me to buy it. No, I want to do my own homework, and you should do the same thing. Okay, what is SWIFT? SWIFT, right? It should be really swift, but it really isn't, okay? It really stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It was created way back in 1973, all right? But it has been used for over 50 years to wire money back and forth. This is the infrastructure that wires money internationally. Over 11,000 banks and financial institutes rely on SWIFT. So it is well entrenched into our financial system. It is not that easy to replace them. So XRP Ledger, and Ripple Labs will have an extremely difficult time, and they've given up to replace SWIFT. And I'm going to talk about why in a second. Guess what? Can you imagine? SWIFT moves 5 trillion a day to upwards of $25 trillion a day. They move that much money around the world. That is a huge amount of money, okay? And that's new terminology for me. I never count money that high. $1.2 quadrillion to $6 quadrillion a year that moves on this SWIFT platform. Now, what's important to understand, guys, SWIFT doesn't move money. It's nothing more than a messaging system. You can think of this as a global secure email messaging system. So if I want to send money from US to Philippines, it may go through multiple countries before it ends up in Philippines for many technical reasons, all right? And we're going to get into a little bit of technicality, but not too much, all right? Now, a nice little cheat sheet I created for you. So what do we have here? we have one column is Ripple Labs, then I have Swift. It's a comparison. So again, Ripple was founded in 2012, 1973. Ripple Labs, which is really XRPL and XRP, and I'm going to explain what RLUSD is in a second. They only have relationship with 300 institutes. It's growing, but only 300. So competing against something that's been used for 50 plus years is extremely difficult. So they're becoming a complementary solution, and we'll talk about this. Look at the difference. Ripple on a daily basis moves around $800 million versus 5 trillion and upwards of 25 trillion, okay? But the fees to move any amount of money in one transaction, that's 0.0002 pennies, fraction of a pennies per transaction, versus Swift, they can charge you up to $50 per transaction. So Swift is really a money-making machine. So they're not going to just say, hey, Ripple Labs, take all our business away because you're cheaper, all right? Funds, look, you have to understand why Swift is so backward. Must have pre-funded. If you have Swift account, all the banks around the world have to have pre-funded bank accounts in different currencies. So you have to lock up all these funds. So if you really use Swift around the world, all these financial institutes, 11,000 of them, have approximately $27 trillion of liquidity that is just pre-funded and stuck. So you can move money back and forth. And there's a financial term called nostro vostro, okay? Yours and us, I believe. It's a Latin word. It's the Bank of America having a foreign account there. That foreign account says, okay, this is Bank of America. So that's nostro vostro. We don't need to get into all of that, but I wanted to impress you with a little bit of my Latin here. Okay, efficiency, as I said, XRP is 100% efficient and Swift is not, because you don't need any money to move XRP because it's on-demand liquidity, guys. All right, the money is sitting there. About $50 billion worth of money that's available because of XRP's valuation, and that money Ripple can move around. Another good thing would be XRP runs 24/7, 365. Swift doesn't, okay? I put who controls it in double quotes for XRP because it's really Ripple Labs, a corporation that controls it. It's decentralized in a sense as blockchain, but it's not truly decentralized because it's really controlled by Ripple Labs. And then Swift obviously is a huge organization that just controlled by one entity. Politically, there is no political implication to Ripple Labs. Yes, you can shut down Ripple Labs as a company, but US really uses Swift to sanction, let's say, Russia and other countries like Iran. With the click of a button, you can remove them from the 11,000 financial institutes so they cannot move money back and forth. All right, we're way into this, so let me move real quickly here. Facts about XRP, very important, guys. Don't put a money in, 1 penny into XRP until you understand these things. There are 100 billion coins. But why isn't worth so much in open market? Because not everything is in circulation. Only 59 billion coins are in circulation among you and I and other people. The rest of them are locked up by Ripple Labs and insiders, okay? So out of 100 billion coins, there's only 59 billion circulating. So if you take 59 billion, multiply that by today's price of $2.25, you get around roughly 132 billion, what's called current market cap. Fully diluted market cap is really all the coins times today's price, which is around 225 billion, because 100 billion times $2.25 is 225 billion. Hope these are making sense. I'm sorry if they're very elementary, but you need to see the relationship and the reason why it's important to understand how many are in circulation, how many are locked up, because that could dilute the price of XRP from 225, and all of a sudden Ripple Labs decides to sell all their shares, it will definitely drop the price from $2.25 probably down to 25 cents. So you need to understand the implications of these things. All-time high, yes, I've been a fan of XRP since I think 2016. Own XRP when it was like a few pennies, wrote it all up to $1, sold it, then bought it again, sold it. And currently I have no position, full disclosure, okay? So I did see it go to 384, and I do remember being in the fractions of pennies. And just back in November, right around the election time of last year, it was only 59 cents, guys. It's already seen 351% gain. Just so all the newcomers that you may be hearing about XRP, it has 3x'd, more than 3x'd already in 6 months. So keep that in mind. Major XRP holders, very important for you to understand. As I alluded to the fact, Ripple Labs own 46 billion XRPs. They're locked up in an escrow, but every month, 1 billion of these tokens are released to Ripple. Now they can choose to sell it or they can just hold on to it. We don't really know. You have to really look at the Ripple XRP ledger to figure this out. Chris Larson had around $5 billion of coins. He may have sold some, has some, nobody really knows. Brito may have sold some, have some still, around 2 billion. And then you got another 2 billion David Schwartz and miscellaneous people own. So that's, if you add it all up, it should add up to 100 billion coins. Okay, let's keep moving. Should you buy XRP? Guys, major question. If I were simply to look at it today, I would say no, I wouldn't buy it because 40% of them are owned by insiders. But you can't answer it this way by simply looking at 40% are owned by insiders. So stay tuned, guys. You should know that 40% are owned, but you should also know what the future holds, okay? Ripple Lab originally was created to replace Swift, but they realized through all the rules and regulations, policies, and it's a big boys club, they will not be able to today replace Swift. So they decided to work with Swift and other banks to be able to augment where necessary, where Swift is not as efficient. A lot of the banks are opening up to Ripple Labs, who is using XRP to be able to transfer cross-border money. Okay, so Ripple Lab always had XRP. And XRP really hasn't been doing well in terms of how much money they've been moving. 300 million a day, roughly, compared to 5 trillion for Swift. So you have to wonder, part of the risk, why Ripple Lab last December all of a sudden decided to create a stable coin called RLUSD. It stands for Ripple Lab USD. Just like USDC, USDT, now we have yet another one called Ripple Lab USD. And the reason they created that is if you are transferring money using XRP from one location to another location, XRP is very volatile, right? I just send the money $100 to Philippines from US using XRP. All of a sudden, XRP price drops within 5 seconds. The receiving side will not get $100. They'll get less by the time we cash out. Obviously, things don't change that frequently within a few seconds, but theoretically, it can happen. And a lot of the large financial systems do not like that. They want stable coin or USD to be transferred, one for one. So Ripple RLUSD is a stable coin for Ripple, where customers don't want to use XRP to transfer over the XRP ledger. They use Ripple Lab USD. Now, what's interesting is it has really taken off. Now, there is a relationship, guys. It's not a replacement, okay? Ripple Lab USD is not a replacement for XRP. It complements it. It actually burns the fees of XRP. So there is synergy between the two. But if XRP was the only choice and XRP kept growing, of course, the price of XRP would be tremendous. So keep that in mind. Currently, 70% of the transactions that happen on XRP Ledger are using XRP token, and the rest are RLUSD, okay? And I'm going to use these models to do price prediction. Okay, well, let's see. I think I've already talked about this, and I think I quickly said why Ripple Lab USD is it here to replace XRP, and some of these I've already touched on. I don't believe it completely replaces it. It really caters to another set of customers. So you have now choices. Do you want instantaneous settlement using XRP, where you don't have to lock up any cash, which would be RLUSD? You have to buy RLUSD. RLUSD is one for one. One RLUSD is one USD. So you would have to buy RLUSD, then you have to transfer that money, okay? So that's the difference, and there is a synergy. You can see the third bullet. Price predictions, that's why you're here. It goes from 2025 all the way to, in this case, 2029. My price prediction is going to take you all the way to 2030 so we can figure out what is going to happen. So if nothing happened, if XRP was not able to add more value to the people that actually use Swift, then these conservative price predictions are $2.85 all the way down to $5 on the left-hand column. You can see that. But if it does encroach on Swift and starts to take few percentage, roughly about 14%, just a few days ago, the CEO of Ripple Labs, Brad, I can never pronounce his last name, said they believe in 5 years, Ripple Lab, utilizing XRP and RLUSD, they will take away around 14% of the market share from Swift. So if they do that, these are the predictions that people have, around $200 all the way up to $500+ per token. You're going to be surprised to see what I have. So let me bring up what I have. Now, this is my Excel spreadsheet. I have few things hidden so I can have your attention so you don't just look at the price, because I have to explain to you what this spreadsheet is. I'm going to show you right here. You see market cap. Let me go here where you see market cap 1, market cap 2. I actually have those numbers hidden. Where you see the yellow XRP price prediction. I also have XRP price prediction here for that, and also XRP I have that hidden, and I'll unhide that. Let me just go ahead and explain what this spreadsheet says. So look in the brown area. That's the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. That's his name. He says they're going to capture 14% of the Swift's market. Okay, so using $5 trillion daily fund transfer of Swift. And if he's 100% right, that's right there. I've calculated it for you. That's $700 billion that will be transferring every day. That's a lot of money. Let's assume, for the sake of discussion, he's right. He hits the numbers 100%. If it remains that way, today's price is this. So what I'm going to show you, look in purple. It's very important. Today's Ripple is only moving $292 million in total. Of that, look in this column, XRP does 70% of 292. That's how you get 204. And RLUSD does about 30%, according to Brad. So that's 87. So 292 is 70-30 right now. That's all they're doing. So now let's go to the right and really look at, so using this brown number, which is 700 billion a day, and if you believed XRP is going to continue to do 70%, and if you believe RLUSD is going to continue to do 30%, which I don't believe, I think it's going to flip in green. It's going to be XRP more 30%, and RLUSD will be more 70%. But let's go ahead and unearth what is the price of XRP if it was really that value. So I'm going to go back and undo this. And I'm going to go back, undo this. I'm going to undo this for you and undo this for you. So guys, if XRP did 70% based on $700 billion, which their share would be 490, each token is going to be worth $539. Now, how did I do that? I discounted that by 10%. I really lowered it. If I kept it to 100%, which I'm not going to, I think realistically it's 10%. Don't ask me what that means. It really means this. It's a discount to the multiplier, because the actual multiplier is, it's going to grow 2,300 times, which I don't believe so. It's a very large number. So I took 10% of that, and that's how you get $539, okay, per token. But I think it's going to get flipped. 30% will be utilizing XRP, and 70% is going to be stablecoin, which is RLUSD. In that case, your XRP value is $231 per token. Now, I want to show you one more thing, which is important. I think, Brad, yeah, he's a CEO. What if he's not right? What if he misses the target by 50%? Let's quickly change the 50%. I think that's more realistic. Then I reduced it. So each token by 2030 because he thinks he's going to take the market share in 2020 by 14%. So that's $269 per token, or more realistically, $115 per token. Okay, so what does that look like from a market share perspective? Let me unhide these so you can see that. So using XRP being 70%, the XRP valuation becomes 26 trillion. But using XRP market share of 30%, XRP is $11 trillion. Yes, it has the potential of being bigger than Bitcoin in terms of market share. So because it is financial system, guys, and you have to understand there is a difference between store of value and actual programmatic way of doing things, which is the software component side of it. So very likely XRP is going to hit around $11 trillion of market cap by 2030. And I believe the $115 is quite realistic. These are price predictions by me, guys. And important that you understand, I did it to the best of my ability to calculate based on all these numbers. It's a model. I will publish this. You can find it. Hey guys, thank you for coming. If you really like my video, go ahead and give me a subscribe and a thumbs up with the video, and turn on all your notifications so you can find me again. I'm going to next probably do a video on Cardano, because a lot of you guys want to know about Cardano. So stay tuned. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Again, this is for educational purposes. Please do your own research and be very careful. Only put money that you're willing to lose, because everything is very risky. There is no guarantee. Thank you. Take care. Bye, guys.